Durdle Magic. Thank you for tuning in to Durdle Magic. Please subscribe and hit that notification bell if you like the content you see here today, and leave a like and share the video with someone you might think is interested. Leaving those likes really helps us out, but another way to help us out is by using our TCG Player affiliate link below. If you're looking for singles, sealed product, or gaming accessories, please consider using our link to support the channel. We also have some playmats at inkgaming.com. Go ahead and hit the link in the description to check those out. Alright, let's grab some spells and Durdle with some magic. Hello and welcome back to Durdle Magic. Today we're playing the second game in the series of Winota Joiner of Forces, concentrating on specific CMCs. This time I upped it to 5 for the creatures, and hopefully that will do a little bit better. It has had some better results, but we'll see what happens this game. Looking at our opening hand, one land, we do have things to do with it, and we do technically have 2 lands, but I don't think this is going to get us where we need to go, even though I really want to keep it, so let's go ahead and take that free mulligan. New hand also gives us 4 lands, technically speaking, and both colors, so I think we'll be keeping this one for sure. Unfortunately, we are last in the turn order, so our first opponent is Winota Joiner of Forces. This will be interesting. I did host the game, I did say casual, let's see how it goes. Planes into play for them, and Legion's Landing. Yeah, I added that to the deck too. It's gonna be a good card. When enters the battlefield, they get a 1/1 white vampire creature token with lifelink. So Winota Joiner of Forces, 2 red white for legendary human warrior 4/4. Whenever a non-human creature you control attacks, look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may put a human creature card from among them onto the battlefield tapped and attacking, and you do get to pick other opponents. It gains indestructible until end of turn. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. That is also our commander, so no need to repeat things here. Forced into play for our next opponent, who is Jarad Golgari Lich Lord. I think that's the first time I've said it almost correctly. Black, black, green, green for a legendary 2/2 zombie elf. It gets 1/1 for each creature card in the graveyard, and 1 black, green. Sacrifice another creature. Each opponent loses life equal to the sacrificed creature's power. Sacrifice a swamp and a forest. Return this card from your graveyard to your hand. Can be a very resilient deck. Can be a very one strategy deck too. Temple of Mystery into play for our last opponent, who is Illuna or Illuna, I'm not sure. Apex of Wishes. 2 green, blue, red for a legendary 6/6 beast elemental dinosaur. Flying Trample. Whenever this creature mutates, exile cards from the top of your library until you exile an online permanent card. Put that card onto the battlefield or into your hand. And it does mutate for 3 Gruul blue blue. Comes our turn, we get Sacred Foundry. That'll be pretty good. Let's go ahead and play the Neoverge Pathway. Let's go ahead and play it on the white side, Pillar Verge Pathway, and play our Hope of Garapur. Unfortunately, Legion's Landing will outdo us over time, but I didn't want to leave myself defenseless. Let's pass it off to our opponents. Over to Winota Joiner of Forces. Hopefully they're as casual as we are, but we will see. Mountain into play for that player. And Tome of Legends. That's pretty good. Don't know if Winota needs it necessarily, but it is a good backup. You will have to recast her to get the value, and she doesn't necessarily have to attack, but she can. Vampire on the attack from Winota, off into Jarad. So that'll be 1 damage, they'll gain 1 life. Damage is good. Alright, that's it for the other Winota player. Over to Jarad. Swamp in play, followed up by... Is it going to be Steve? Oh, it's not going to be anything. Okay. A little bit surprised. Alright, Jarad does like to have the bigger creatures. Over to the Apex of Wishes. This is actually a commander I've seen come up again here and there, so I'm guessing it's probably the most popular besides Nethroi out of the cycle. Rampant Growth, they'll go get a land. Nice artwork, by the way, I do like that. Mountain into play tap for them. Going to roll over to our turn. Comes our turn, we get Banisher Priest. No 2 drops we want to play it. Let's go ahead and play Sacred Foundry into play tapped. And we will pass it off to our opponents. Probably going to keep Hope of Garapur back for defense. We can't sacrifice it, and then players can't cast non-creature spells. I'm thinking that's mostly only going to be effective against the Apex player. Planes into play for Winota on the other side. Unfortunately, us going last and them going first, not only are they before us to play Winota, they're also 2 turns ahead of us, which hopefully means they'll get some extra hate, but we'll have to wait and see. They activate Tome of Legends to draw a card. To the attack step. Where's that vampire going to sink its teeth? No teeth, no sinking. Okay, they're passing it off to the Lich Lord. Also, I had a deck built around this after Modern Horizons reprinted a bunch of cards and they became cheap. Those are the kind of reprint sets I need. I don't know what you feel about it, but I was enthused. So just a land into play for Jarad on their turn. That's it. Over to the Apex of Witches Waterlogged Grove coming down for them. In the comments below, let me know what is appealing about these particular lands. I personally never much liked the cycle. So, I mean, it's good if you need the extra stuff for competitive, but for casual, eh. Hey, look, it's Steve coming down for the Apex of Wishes player. To our turn sees a Resolute Blade Master. That's actually something I was hoping to get with Winota, but what can you do? Let's go ahead, play a mountain, and then we'll play the Magus of the Wheel, and maybe that will work. No, let's hold it back, or we could threaten it later. Do you have Swords to Plowshares up, rather? We can also do Valcoat Awakening, and just shuffle a bunch of stuff into the bottom of our library. So that could also be a thing. But I do like Swords to Plowshares. Alright, we're not going to do anything this turn. Let's go ahead and pass it off. Swords to Plowshares, the other Winota, perhaps, if it comes down. And try to outrun our own commander. To the other Winota's turn, 6 cards in hand. We'll have a 7 after the draw. Mountain into play. Will they cast the commander? They do cast Winota, Joiner of Forces, or as I like to call her, Win on the Attack. Tome of Legends will trigger. We may have a response out of the Apex player. They do Reality Shift, exile target creature is Winota. That means we can keep up swords for later and use Valcoat Awakening. Nice. Oh, and then we have Putrefy on the Tome of Legends. Alright, so the other Winota player taking all of the hate. We are so far golden, so this might work out for us. Tome down. Reality Shift going to make Winota a, I don't know, it's like a Morph Jelly Ghost? I'm not quite sure what Reality Shift actually does. I know what it says it does, but okay, so that worked out in our favor. We also know our enemies are packing some removal, so, oof. So, yeah, we'll have to keep that in mind. Just the land into play for Jarad this turn. Nothing happening. Secure Tribe Elder sacrificed by the Apex of Wishes player after all that at the end step. Alright, they'll go get another land. Apex's turn. Preordain on the first main. Scry 2, draw a card. Arid Mesa in the play. Alright, well that's going to get them any color they need. It looks like going to be red. Could possibly get them red, green, red, blue. Wilderness Reclamation. Oh no. Yeah, we need a War Priest to thune that pretty quick. Arid Mesa getting cracked. Let's see what they get with that. Ketria Triome. Yeah, that'll be pretty good. Alright, to the combat. Looks like they're tapped out, so I guess we're going to go ahead and play the Valcoat Awakening in response here. Let's go ahead and put the Banisher Priest, Resolute Blade Master, and the Magus on bomb. They're all humans we can get later. Keep Swords to Plowshares and Scavenger Grounds. We're going to need the land and the removal. Goes on the bomb in any order. Draw 3 new cards. We have Segovian Angel. I've always wanted to play this card, and I figure this casual version of Winota is the time. Regional Castle, Underworld Breach, and Jarad Weatherlight Hero. Very good against board wipes. Comes to our turn, we get Grenzo Havoc Raiser. Okay, that's pretty good. Let's go ahead and play the castle. And then we will play the Angel. And we'll play Grenzo. Hopefully not getting too much hate so we can play our commander next turn and leave up mana for the Swords to Plowshares. Alright, let's go to attacks. The Apex of Wishes player probably has a lot of cool stuff. Let's go ahead and do that. Damage is good. We have a trigger. Let's go ahead and put it on the stack and see what we get. Odds are we can't play it, but you never know. Alright, so it was a land. Strip Mind. Ooh, that's no bueno. Damage is good. Let's pass it off to our opponents. White up for the swords. Over to not our Winota's turn. See what they do. 4 mana currently. 7 cards in hand, though. So they are still ahead of us on cards. Drop a land. Play some stuff. Mountain into play. So the 5 drops and the 6 drops are really the meat of a Winota deck, so let's see what they have. Sword of the Animist. Yeah, ramp's pretty good. Sword of the Animist to the Lifelink Vampire. That'll become problematic over time. Other Winota to the attack. Let's see where they send it. I'm thinking at least the Vampire's attacking somewhere. Vampire token off into us with the sword. Sword triggers. Yeah, I don't want to block it just yet. The life gain and the land search is going to be very problematic for us. But we could swords it. Kind of a waste on a token. Plus they can just re-equip it later. I think we'll just take it for now. No blocks. Damage is good. Winota, well, the other Winota player anyway, gains 2 life. We take 2. 38. Omen of the Hunt coming down for the Jarad player at flash speed, end of turn. There's the battlefield. They'll search the library for a basic land card, put it on the battlefield tapped. It's actually a pretty good Omen. It has flash, you can sacrifice it to scry 2 after the fact, so it still has value. The Omen cycle was not terrible. To Jarad's turn, another land into play, a swamp this time. Milliken coming down. That's a card I haven't seen in a Jarad deck before. Interesting. It is tap mill card, add 1 mana. It is colorless mana. That's it for Jarad. Still holding mana up, so they must have a lot of interaction, which isn't, it's not my favorite. Troll Ascetic coming down for the Apex of Wishes player on their turn. That's a card I haven't seen in forever. From Unwritten 1, I think it was reprinted in a dual deck. It has hexproof. Back then, Troll Shroud. 1 green green, 3/2, 1 green, regenerate it. Parcel Beast. Mutate. 1, tap, look at the top card of your library. If it's a land card, goes to the battlefield. If it's not, goes to your hand. You know, the Oracle kind of stuff. It is, in fact, mutated. It now has hexproof and regeneration, and the ability I just mentioned. That's unfortunate. To the end step, Reclamation triggers. We get Thalia's Lancers. That's actually not too bad. Let's go ahead and play Scavenger Grounds. And then what do we want to do? There's a lot of mana open from our opponents who already used removal, so that is somewhat problematic and scary. We could just do Jarad, Weatherlight Captain, hold up that Swords to Plowshares, and call that a turn. But we do have to get going pretty quick. Unfortunately, we don't have another land to get Winota back down if something bad happens. I guess we go ahead and play our commander. There's not much else without our commander doing in this deck, so let's go ahead and cast it. Let's go combat, see if anybody has a response. So far, they do not. Let's go ahead and attack the 2 players who have not been attacked yet. Seems like a good idea. 2 triggers, let's see if we whiff or not. We whiff on the first one. Ooh, that hurts. Almost 40 creatures in the deck, too. Next trigger, we get, a lot more. So we get 4 to pick from. Not too much. I did put Agris Koss in here. He's okay. But we probably want some Thopters down. Let's go ahead and do the Thopter Engineer. We do have Thalia's Lancers, so that's not necessarily a problem. Let's go ahead and hit the other Winota player with that creature. We also get a Thopter into play. Let's go combats and blocks and all the things and see what happens. Damage is good everywhere. Nice. We have 3 triggers from Grenzo. Let's go ahead and go to creature. Go ahead and exile top card from this opponent if it lets me click on stuff. And then let's go to another creature. We'll goad the Manifest token there. So both creatures from the other Winota player are goaded. They will attack somebody else besides us. And we'll exile top card. Boneyard Worm. Alright, so a little bit of piece of power out of the Jarad player. Not the best, but I can live without that being there. And we'll pass it off to our opponents. Boneyard Worm will stay exiled. Over to the other Winota. Winota Joiner of Forces coming down for the other player who has a Winota. Okay, let's see if anybody else has a response. They didn't respond to mine, and I had more creatures to attack with, so let's see what's happening. Their other 2 creatures do have to attack. So let's see where they're sending it. So far, both at Jarad. Yep, that makes sense to me. They have 3 triggers, 2 Winota triggers, and a sword trigger. I imagine their humans will be better than ours. Grand Abolsher into play, tapped and attacking. Let's see what they get otherwise. Oh, they get a Combat Celebrant. So they can't exert until the next time it's declared as an attacker, because this time it was not. But additional combat phases? Yeah, we don't have that in this deck. Casual, remember? Casual. However, it is a good include if you're going to build Winota. Alright, they get Plains of the play off the sword trigger. So let's see. Everything's going after Jarad. Okay. That kind of works for me. All of the damage is good. Jarad down to 28. Winota still at 43, 6 cards in hand still for them. And they're starting to amass a board. Wouldn't be, sad to see a Winds of Abandon about now. Over to Jarad's turn. I imagine going to be board wipe. If not, we definitely need to lay down Jarad next turn and prepare for that. Keep Underworld Breach, Thalia's Lancers, and Swords to Plowshares up. Thalia's Lancers in particular will be good for getting like Krenko out of our deck. Grim Backwoods gets milled with the activation of Milliken and mana. That's 7 mana being tapped for Jarad. Gaze of Grant equals 4. Yep, there goes our whole team. Kinda figured that would happen, but that's why we have Underworld Breach and some other recursion. Okay, they're going to regenerate the Parcel Beast over at the Apex of Wishes players area. So, yep, that's not going to die then. Well, that's unfortunate. Jarad, a turn too late. Alright, let's go ahead and go over to the Apex of Wishes turn. I was thinking of putting back, putting a card, what is it? It's that new white artifact from the core set. Brings stuff back that's 3 CMC. Problem with Winota in particular is, if you don't draw it, you can't cast it. She doesn't roll into that. But I figure in a low-end deck like this where we have a lost have at 3 and 2, that would be a very good card to have. Apex of Wishes coming down for that player. It's going to mutate. There it is. It'll trigger exile cards from the top of the library until you exile an unlocked card. Put it on the battlefield or put it into your hand. Growth Spout, Counterflux, Volcanic Island, and Sea Dasher Octopus. They take the Sea Dasher Octopus, looks like. Alright. Their commander, though, is a doesn't need haste, regenerative, look at your top card, get a land or draw it, 6/6 flyer. So that's a lot. It is coming into the other Winota player, so that works for me. Damage is good. The other Winota player down to 37, 6 commander damage. They do still have 6 cards in hand, though. They'll be able to recover much better than we are. Ooh, we get Lightning Greaves. That's pretty nice. But for now, let's go ahead and play Thalia's Lancers and go get probably Krenko. See what other legendaries we have here, too. So Krenko, as long as we can attack, keeps giving us more and more goblins, and the board is kind of clear now. So I think that's what we want to do. I do have Proforos in the deck, but kind of just gotta draw him in. Let's get Krenko. And we'll pass it off to our opponents. Over to other Winota. Mountain into play for that player. 6 cards in hand still, though. They must have drawn the land or something nifty. Oblivion Ring. Okay, hopefully that's not on us, but you never know. I'm thinking it'll be on the Apex. Nope, it's on Thalia's Lancers. Ouch. Hey, we don't have to have a rivalry. We can beat each other up after we're done. Alright, our guy gets exiled. Or our group of guys, girls, people? Yeah, no, it's a group of Lancers. That's the end of Winota's turn. Just checking the chat, just because reasons. And the other Winota player says they had forgotten about the hexproof on the Apex of Wishes, so they had to pick another target. I mean, it still sucks for us, but what can you do? Okay, Slum Reaper coming down for the Jarad player. When there's the battlefield, each player sacrifices a creature. That'll get around hexproof pretty well. Force of Will, oof. Slum Reaper has been countered by the Apex of Wishes player. To the Apex's turn, Apex of Wishes gets mutated upon. Wait, where is it? There we go. Glowstone Recluse. It now has Reach, and whenever this creature mutates, it gets 2 1/1 cards. It will be an 8/8, and they'll get to, you know, draw a card and all that stuff. Or put it onto the battlefield, conversely. Fun times. Onto the battlefield comes Wood Elves. They'll go get a forest card. Tropical Island into play. To the attacks, Apex of Wishes, now a mighty 8/8, off into the Jarad player. At least they're spreading it around. That's nice. Although that probably means we're also taking 10. Damage is good. Jarad down to 28 commander damage. 3 cards in hand, by the way. Apex player, 34 life, 2 cards in hand. Comes our turn, we get Bastion Protector. That'll be really good if we can ever get a 6th land. Last game I played tested this. Got nothing but lands, unfortunately. Go ahead and play Krenko. And then let's go ahead and play the Lightning Greaves. And I imagine a response in response to the equip. But we'll see. Let's go ahead and equip the Greaves. Apex doesn't do anything. Works for me. Let's go ahead and attack, and we'll attack into the Apex of Wishes player. Seems like a good idea. Keep things nice and friendly, although the other one is still freaking me out a little bit. Krenko is a mighty 2/3. We get 2 goblins. Damage is good. Apex player down to 32. Let's pass it off. Over to Winota's. Let's see what they do. They do have a lot more mana than us and 2 more cards. Scavenger Grounds into play. We have one too. It would suck if we had that activated in response to an Underworld Breach, though. Captain of the Watch. That's something we do not have in the deck, unfortunately. I did want to keep it casual, and there are a lot of powerful 6 drops that can go into Winota. And 7 drops, actually. Captain of the Watch comes into play. They get 3 1/1 white soldier creature tokens. Hey, don't outdo Krenko. Krenko needs to love too. On the bright side, I can definitely say we're the more casual of the Winotas, so victory, I guess? Over to Jarad. 7 lands on the battlefield for Jarad on their turn. They play Sir Conrad the Grim. That'll give them some reach. They activate him, each player mills a card. We do have about 40 creatures in the deck, so let's see what we mill. Legion Warboss. Oof, that would have been good. Okay, but it might get us to a land, so it might not be all bad. Alright, we do end up taking 1 from Sir Conrad. It doesn't look like anyone else did. A little bit unfortunate there. We have a response at the end step from the Apex player. Sea Dasher Octopus coming down. It is mutating. So it does have flash. And it says whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Mutate triggers. It'll get 2 more 1/1 counters, and it gets to use its own ability. They exile non-land cards. They may put it into play or their hand. It looks like they drew it. Over to the Apex of Wishes turns proper, because blue does stuff. Yet another mutate, Sawtusk Demolisher. And let's see, destroy target non-creature permanent. When it mutates, its controller creates a 3/3 green beast creature token. So I'm thinking the Lightning Greaves is going bye-bye. Alright, there are all the triggers. They get to beast within something, get 2 more counters, and they get to do the look at the top card, see you hit on land, all that jazz. Sorry, not quite beast within, it says non-creature. They're destroying a Farce from Jarad. Okay, that's a little interesting. I wasn't expecting that. I figured Lightning Greaves for sure, maybe the O-Ring. Jarad does get a beast token. Genesis Ultimate, Vandal Blast, Crossing Grip on the top. Oof. Alright, that's it. we now have a 12-12, trampling, flying, all that kinds of stuff. Sawtusk is on top, did not see that coming. Porcupine. Oh no. So it can tap to deal X damage to target, any target rather, where X is the number of times this is mutated. And we're up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, 6 with the Porcupine. Ouch. More triggers, the counters, the free spell or draw, and then the destroy something. So they aren't done yet. Oof, Jarad leaves the game. Yeah, they were not getting any card draw or anything, so I can see why they do that. Thanks for sticking around though. They have a Zet Signet in the graveyard. Lightning Greaves being targeted with the Almost Beast within effect. Yep, that's what I thought they were doing the first time, but is that Signet coming into play for the Apex player? Lightning Greaves to the grave. Apex to the attack. So commander damage is going to be a thing. Oh, they didn't attack anywhere. Okay, that's interesting. All right, we get Thalia, Hellertic Cathar. That's not really going to help us, and we still need a land. We also need to get rid of that Hexproof ability. So I'm thinking Underworld Breach, Volkut Awakening. Hopefully we'll get a land out of it. It's kind of what we're on right now, so let's go ahead and do that. Underworld Breach. Hopefully the other Winota player is not going to exile all the graveyards. We'll go ahead and play Volkut Awakening, and let's exile the Hope, the Angel, and the Lightning Greaves. Can't really get those back. Cast Volkut Awakening, and we'll get rid of probably Thalia. Do we want to get rid of Jarad? Maybe. It's a really hard call. I think at this point we just get rid of all the humans, keep the removal, and hope for a land. Put them on the bottom in any order. Ooh, we get Heliod's Intervention and Winds of Abandon. Nice. Let's go ahead, play a Plains. Unfortunately, we are one turn away from lethal commander damage, so I don't think anything is going to help right now. Alright, we might as well attack. Make sure we have some goblins on board. Let's go ahead and attack probably the other Winota player. Maybe we can trade with them a bit. They'll need to have removal either way. We get 3 goblins. Krunko, a mighty 3/4. Alright, they take the damage. 3 is good. Let's pass it off to our opponents. Hold up mana for the Swords to Plowshares. Underworld Breach will trigger. Not much we can do about the Apex player, so hopefully there's a board wipe in the future. If not, one of the Winota players is going down. Over to the other Winota's turn. 9 mana on their battlefield, 5 cards in hand after the draw. Battlefield Forge to the battlefield. That's a lot of mana. Is it Winota? It is. Hopefully there's not going to be any counter magic out of the Apex. Nope. So, yeah. This could be victory for them, or at least a lot of damage. And then Apex of Wishes isn't even a tighter spot, but we'll see who they actually attack with those soldiers. 2 combat. Alright, they have 3 soldiers, that's 3 triggers. Hopefully they don't whiff like we did. There are the triggers. Let's see what they get off of them. Their own Thalia's Lancers. I had a feeling that was going to come up. Alright, so they do get to search for a legendary creature. They get their own Krenko Tin Street Kingpin. Hey. Hey. Alright, second trigger. Let's see what they get on this one. They get a Frontline Medic. Not bad. When it attacks as Battalion. So, when it attacks, creatures you control gain indestructible. Also, and I don't know if anyone really remembers this ability, you can sacrifice it to counter target spell with X in its mana cost, and lets its controller pays 3. So it does have some unique circumstances, like against Exsanguinate, or Torment of Hellfire, or the Green Finale. So, it does have some uses. Alright, looks like they whiff on the last one. Both of the new creatures are going into the Apex of Wishes player. That works for me. Apex of Wishes being assigned to block the Captain of the Watch. Wood Elves against Thalia's Lancers. Thalia's Lancers does a first strike, but it didn't really matter anyway. First strike damage is good. Wood Elves is down. Captain of the Watch dies. Apex player down to 22. They can't kill us both and hope to win, so they better do something. This is the end step, however, and they look like they have a response. Never mind, they take their mana back. Ooh, they destroy... Wait. Oh, they dealt damage with Porcupine. 6 damage to Winota. Ouch. Winota back to the command zone for the other player. Apex of Wishes turn proper. Let's see what they're going to do with it. That's a Soul Ring into play, by the way. Trumpeting Gnar. So, more mutate. Whenever this creature mutates, you get a 3/3 beast creature token. Ooh, extra defense is not the best. They're also going to get 2 more counters, which means they're going to get even closer to being lethal. Sorry, last turn I thought that was an 18/18. Who's to say it's not going to happen, though? They also get to destroy another non-creature permanent. They're destroying the other one known as Scavenger Grounds. Okay. They create a 3/3 beast token. They get Peregrine Drake and a Polluted Delta. Peregrine Drake's going to come into play and trigger. In response, they're going to tap their lands to get more mana. And now they get 2 more counters on their commander. Lands are untapped. 1 card in hand for the Apex player, by the way. Still, though, I had forgotten about the Porky-Parrot's ability. Now they can deal 7 to something. Our Winota would not even survive. Scavenging Ooze coming down. Scavenging Ooze being activated. They're going to target the Captain of the Watch in the other Winota's graveyard. It goes bye-bye. Ooze gets bigger. Again, they will be targeting our Legion War Boss. That's too bad. That Goblin deserved every promotion he earned. Alright, they're hitting our Engineer. Alright, that's it. 2 combat. Are they going to send the Commander anywhere? They are. Who is it at? The other Winota player. We do not have to fear the Porky-Parrot activation. Unless they can untap it somehow, which I don't see. 0 cards in hand for the Apex player. Other Winota player goes down, 22 commander damage, and they will get to draw a card, so they will have another card in hand. Birds of Paradise coming down, it's the card they drew. Second main. At the end of turn, let's cast Swords to Plowshares on the Ooze because reasons. Alright, they are activating it. They're going to get rid of, oops, missed it. Grenzo Havoc Razor, that's unfortunate. They're going to get rid of their own Wood Elves, okay. They're going to gain a lot of life off of this. That's probably what they're going after. We are probably just going to do Winds of Abandon anyway and not cast our commander just yet. Them having creatures down, especially that big one, is going to be much more detrimental. Let's go ahead and play a mountain. Comes to our turn. We get Dragon Fodder. Let's go ahead and play the Winds of Abandon. They can have the mana. They can have all the mana. As long as they have nothing to cast with it. Winds of Abandon on Overload. Feel the peace. All the creatures get exiled. And that's kind of the eggs and basket thing with Mutate over here in the exile zone. Now, I don't know if the Winds of Abandon will count all of these creatures that were mutated upon it to get them lands. Mutate is a really complicated mechanic, so we're going to have to wait and see. It looks like it does not. It looks like it only got them like the 4 or 5, so that's okay. Well, let's go to combat and, well, swing everything. Oh, they are drawing a card with the Warlock Grove. Not giving up. Good for them. All right. Let's go ahead and swing. Krenko will trigger again. It'll be a mighty 4 or 5, and we will get now 4 Goblin creature tokens. If we whiff off that many triggers, if we can get Winota down, I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. Damage is good. They're down to 22. 1 card in hand. Let's pass it off. They will have 2 cards after the draw, plus their commander in the command zone. Extra mutates are not my favorite. Coiling Oracle coming down for them. That's a good Simic card. Simic's always been kind of good that way. They have a lot of redundant effects that are similar now, though. That is a lot of mana. A lot of mana. I am not thrilled with that. Did they get back Genesis Ultimatum? What's going on? Oh, it's their commander mutating upon it. Okay, that's fine for now. They do still have 2 cards in hand, though. If one's a counterspell, we are going to be in a bad place. It mutates Dig Through Time. Woodland Bellower. Okay. Well, didn't see that coming. Guess I should have. There's green in the deck. So in case you're unfamiliar, when it enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a non-legendary green creature card with current mana cost 3 or less, put it on the battlefield, then shove your library, and it happens to be Essence Symbiote. Whenever a creature you control mutates, put 1 card on that creature and you gain 2 life. So still 2 cards in hand, lots of blue up. I figure at this point, we summon our commander. There's nothing else we can do. Plains into play. Let's go ahead and summon our commander, leave it mana up, see if they have something, or if they think we have something. And keep Dragon Fodder back. We have plenty of guys on the ground. No need to go overboard. Yep, here's the counterspell, and it's actually just counterspell. Sad face. Let's put it back in the command zone. All right, let's go to attacks. We will attack with just about everything. We will leave back the beast for now. Krenko will trigger again. It will be a mighty 6, or a 5/6 rather. Might be able to trade with just about everything except Inala. I don't know why I keep calling it Inala. It's Illuna? I'm not sure. Yep, Krenko getting slapped around by the Apex. Woodland Bellower going to eat a goblin. It feels snacky. And the Essence Symbiote also getting snacky. How rude. They have rights, okay? Just because they're goblins. Bam. Apex player down to 15. We do lose Krenko and those 2 goblin tokens, though. End of turn shenanigans out of the Apex player again. Let's see what they're doing. Dig Through Time. Look at the top 7 cards. Put 2 of them in your hand, the rest in your bottom of your library in random order. Looks like they did a lot of delving. So that's unfortunate. Big creatures are going to hurt. We need our commander down. I think we can get through if we can get a boost, but we'd have to draw Pulveros at that point. We could also conversely draw Agris Koss, but he only does it when he attacks, I believe. So that would also be problematic. We do have 1 other booster, but I forget what it is at the moment. Over to the Apex's turn. 3 cards in hand after the draw. 2 from the dig. Oh, Jace the Mind Sculptor. Okay, well that's unfortunate. So, Jace the Wallet Slayer, as it might also be known, they're activating the 0 ability. They get to Brainstorm. Comes into play with 3 loyalty counters, plus 2. Look at the top card of target player's library. You may put that card on the bottom of that player's library. -1, return target creature to its owner's hand. -12, exile all cards from target player's library, then that player shuffles their hand into their library. It's pretty good card. Not as good in EDH, but still pretty good. Apex on the attack into us. We're going to take it. Okay, comes our turn. We get Rugged Prairie. Nice, let's go ahead and play it. 3 cards in hand for the Apex player, and yeah, probably yet another counterspell, but we need our commander, so let's go ahead and do the things. Try to recast our commander, expect a counterspell in the face. Oh, it didn't happen. Okay. So let's go ahead and do it. I mean, they also could have Psychrift mana up. That would be also super bad. Yep, Psychrift. There it goes. All the tokens are gone. That's why we kept Dragon Fodder. Okay, we're not out of it yet, but it's going to be difficult. Let's go ahead and pass it off to our opponents. Jace is going to do the brainstorming. Needs to stop thinking over there. Jeez. Lord Dracus. It's going to mutate, and they'll get to return target instant sorcery, which probably also means a Psychrift at this point. Yeah, I think the game might be done at that point. Yep, that's a Psychrift return. I don't know what they drew or got off the top. Nothing came into play that's new, so not sure what the Apex of Wishes trigger did. Everquill Phoenix. Mutate. When mutates, create a red artifact creature token named Feather to return a Phoenix card from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Well, okay. More mutation triggers. It'll get a 1/1 counter. They'll get to get the things. They return a counter spell. Yeah, I think we're done at this point. That's unfortunate. The deck did basically what it was supposed to do, but we just couldn't get going fast enough. I think that's been a major problem for the decks I've made for this with the lower CMCs, because it kind of starts crowding stuff out towards the bottom. And I think if we put in like more token producers up front, then could drop our Windmill Slam our commander to the battlefield, tokens turn 1, turn 2, turn 3, that'd just be so much better. A Slippery Boggle into play, a Feather token into play. I haven't seen this token before. I like the art. Alright, they go to combat. Alright, coming at us, I bet. Yep, with lots of stuff. Let's see, that's 8 now? Yep, so we're going to take 16 damage total, 8 more commander. Down to 15, up to 14 commander damage for us. Damage is good. End step. Alright, rolls over to our turn. Let's see what we get. We get Flame Rush Rider. That's something I want to try out the deck. The humans at 5 aren't the best in the world, but I did want to try this, get a copy of something that's attacking. Never know when you need a nice extra ETB. So let's go ahead and play Heliod's Intervention. I guess maybe get out a counterspell. Maybe survive something. I don't know. Let's go ahead and play the life side of it. Could destroy their mana rocks, but at this point I don't think that's what's going to be happening. And we'll go ahead and gain 6 life. Back to 21. Haha. Let's go ahead and cast with dash, because why not? And let's go to attack. I think I'm going to attack Jace just because I always hated that Planeswalker. So let's go ahead and do that. Unfortunately, we don't get a token because it has to be another attacking creature. Or another target attacking creature, rather. Jace is down. Okay. So, I guess I can die with some dignity. Flame Rush back to the hand at the end step. Alright, let's bask in the glory of those arrows. Cinderglade into play, then straight to the attacks. Looks like we'll just be taking about lethal here. No blocks, 8 commander damage to our face. And we take 22 commander damage. I want to say good game, but it doesn't let me do those things. I don't know why. We'll reveal our hand, sure. Just some dragon fodder there. Good game to our opponents. It was actually a longer lasting game than I anticipated. Also, it switched right over to the deck. Alright, no transition this time, I guess. Let's just take a look at it. So, like I said from last game, went up to 5 CMC for the creatures. Add Dagger's cost, probably not the best creature now that I think about it, because he has to say whenever he attacks. I do have some nostalgia for the old Ravnica block, though. Adriana, Captain of the Guard. That'll give us the melee triggers for a 1/1 boost. Then we have Resolute Blade Master for the double strike. Too bad we couldn't really get any of that stuff going. I felt like we were on the cusp a lot of the time, but just couldn't get there. Cyclonic Rift will also kind of do that to you, especially with tokens. Added some of the, what are they, spell lands, flip lands, module dual face lands, whatever the name is for these things, jeez. In either case, Amuria's Call is something I add. I never actually expected to cast it for the 7, but if we ever did, it would have been pretty good. I think it'll work in this deck if you want to put it in there and you don't have to be super competitive. Also add Legion's Landing, not, you know, in the same vein, but it gets us that token just like the other Winota player. Pretty good. 1 drop, yeah, token. There you go. But our MVP of the game here, I suppose, is Velkut Awakening. You know, I thought this card was good, but it's actually pretty good, especially if you can recur it. I just wish it kind of put him in the graveyard, depending if I wanted to play something like Feldon of the Third Path. But regardless, without this card being able to be cast twice with the Underworld Breach, we would have been a lot more dead than not, so I totally recommend this card. Other than that, standard fare, not too much changed in the deck. Did take out some 3-drops, tried to put more non-humans on the low end and definitely more humans on the higher end, as Winota is wont to do. Did add Frontier Warmonger in the 4 slot. It does give our guys menace and other creatures our opponents control menace against our opponents. So a little bit of politics there could be good. Plus it's a 4/4 for 4, so it's not a terrible card at all. Did take out Annex. Actually, I took out a lot of stuff just because it didn't seem to be working very well. Added Forbidden Friendship just because I needed another token maker. Gave a human and a dinosaur, so why not? Still not as good as Dragonfire because it does give 2 goblins and one of them's not human. Added Rimrock Knight because it's a dwarf and you get a little bit of a boost. It's also a 3/1 for 2, which isn't terrible. And add Regal Leosaur. So it does have Mutate, which isn't the point of it. It's just another one of those things that's not human. Something else that's not human that probably could work in here is Ceradon Yearling, back from, was it, one of the Alara block sets. It has Vigilance and Haste, so if you have that, I'd recommend that if you want to go a little bit more casual with it. But here's the deck. Let me know what you think about it. Did we achieve a more casual Winota? Did we not? I think we did more or less. It still has some need for some earlier plays, I think. Getting stuff to the board. Has a need to close out the game, maybe. The 6-drops really do help with that. But I think in all of Magic, this deck could probably be made to where it would work. I think the problem for Winota itself is it definitely wants to be a certain kind of build, a certain kind of deck. And it's really hard to build around her and still have kind of like a backup plan, if you will. And I think that's something that's probably going to end up being necessary for this deck because without Winota, we're not doing a whole lot. So I definitely build out where, especially you can find good humans, where they can boost your guys, protect your guys, act as maybe some removal or evasion. That way, if you get them, great. If you can't get Winota down, you can still draw those cards and definitely add some more card draw to the deck. Unfortunately, the creature-based card draw for this deck is going to be very bad. But as it goes along, it may become more powerful. We do have new stuff coming out in Commander Legends. We have new stuff coming out all the time, and frankly, there's power creep everywhere. So, again, let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about the future Winota. And if you saw any cards in this video that you want to purchase for yourself, sealed product, Commander Legends is coming out November 20th, hopefully. Or sleeves to protect your products that you buy and you play with, hopefully, and we'll get to. Go ahead and consider using that TCG Player affiliate link in the description below. It helps out the channel and doesn't cost you anything extra. And I'll see you on the next series. Remember, these will only be 2 games apiece now as we wait till Commander Legends. And let me know if you want to cover any of the commanders I've already done in the past. But I do have a roster I'm selecting from. So I'll see you for the next series, and you'll see what commander I cover next.